He killed himself.
Another disappointment. Strength is the only teacher.
Like, Josh, Dylan knows that this shit happens with my computer.
One can read the future in battle. It seems one.
Fear, the sheer killing intent, was greater than he'd experienced, but his own determination was too great to let him falter. He was staring down darkness incarnate, a true evil, a demon born from a human who had lost their soul long ago. There was nothing left of who Chara had once been. Whether they were ever good or if they were just too far gone, Naruto got the distinct sense that there was no talking them out of it. There was no talk no jutsu that could pull Chara back to the light. Their heart simply was not capable of understanding compassion any longer, only their own evil desires. And so, this was truly the end, the finale. Naruto had to stop them now, or the whole world could be at stake. Chara weaved hand signs. From there, a fierce chill entered the arena as a blizzard began. I've been working on this one especially for you, Naruto. I call this one Ice Release, Snowgrave. As the winds picked up, Chara spoke. It's going to take some time to charge, of course. So let this be the timer to our battle. Can you beat me before the technique activates? Naruto chose to attack. Weaving his own hand signs, he attempted to utilize Fire Release to heat the room up, hoping to slow the attack while damaging his adversary. But it was as if the more heat something possessed, the more energy was sapped by the technique. How cute, Chara said. Sadly, you've only fed into the attack. You've shortened the timer. Try again. Naruto, knowing that he'd do better to attempt to use more physical means, decided to use the new technique he discovered, Fang over Fang. Summoning a shadow clone, the two of them transformed into wolves and began to rush through the rapidly building snow. Jumping into the air, they performed a corkscrew attack that came down on Chara with incredible speed and strength. Chara narrowly avoided the first one, but the follow-up attack struck its mark, knocking the fallen child away. As Chara attempted to get up, Naruto was back on them in a second, throwing shuriken as he raced forward toward them. Chara, getting back to their feet, used their own weapon to swipe the shuriken away before clashing with Naruto. It was then that Chara felt sand crawling up their leg and tightening, holding them in place. Time to face things head on, Chara said as Naruto formed shadow clones that began to fling kunai and shuriken from all directions. Chara locked in and began swiping them all out of the air. Their speed was insane. How was it possible for someone without shinobi training to possess such reflexes? What kind of world had this Chara come from? As if reading Naruto's thoughts, Chara spoke. I am a demon of hell. Bullet hell, to be exact. Breaking their feet free, they jumped back and caught themselves. Chara then went on the offensive. Jumping into the air, 15 different butcher knives formed around Naruto to strike him. They came at him from all sides. Naruto raised his hands and formed a dome of sand around him as Gaara had once used. It was at that time he heard a thunk. Naruto had formed spikes on the outside of the shell and saw red coming through the sand. Dropping the shield, he saw that Chara had hit the ground, a deep hole in their chest. Naruto took this chance to kick Chara as hard as he could in the face, sending them rolling. He was hoping this would be enough to end the battle, but Chara began to rise to their feet. Slowly, their wounds regenerated. Naruto was confused as suddenly the form of the Nine Tails appeared behind Chara. You never tamed it. Broken, reshaped into my will, said smile. Chara, then, covering themselves in the golden chakra of the Nine Tails, saw that shadow, a mantle of darkness covering their body, giving them only a faint white outline. Their knife, covered in this black chakra, extended itself. Chara came to Naruto and began to swing. Naruto, for the first few moments, dodging and blocking, but as Chara's speed increased, it surpassed his perception, and by that time, he was nothing more than a victim, a pincushion at the mercy of a monster. As the attack came to an end, Naruto hit the ground. The snow below him stained crimson. Chara took a step to the side and looked up into the sky before looking back Suddenly, the wind swept around Naruto, raising him on a pillar of snow before freezing him solid. Naruto within was still conscious, but unable to move. Chara drew closer. Stay close. close attention. Naruto could do nothing but watch as Chara, having taken the form of that chakra cloak again, burning his black chakra, stood above Sasuke. Rolling him onto his back, Chara knelt down. The last of the Uchiha, are you? You're not the first race I've ended, and you won't be the last. Driving their blade into his chest, Sasuke let out a gasp of air as blood began to drip from his lips. In that moment, the Sharingan awakened in both Naruto and Chara's eyes. As the knowledge and memories of Jutsu flooded Chara and Naruto's mind, Chara spoke. Interesting. So there is a stage beyond. Looking back at Naruto for a moment, Chara smiled and spoke. How about we use the power of these beasts to send this world to the void? Naruto looked at Chara in terror. Chara smiled as Naruto watched out Chara using their body step into the center of the forest. Pouring all of their determination into their blade, they spoke. Let all creation yield to my command. Let blinding white subsume and cleanse the slate. Striking the ground with all their might, Chara called forth the abyss. A bright flash appeared as all light and even dark ceased to exist. Konoha, Kirigakure, Kumogakure, Tsunagakure, Iwagakure, all ceased to exist. And all in them ceased as well. The pain and darkness, the self-hatred and anger, all of it boiled inside of Naruto as he broke. And from this, he forced their body to freeze. Stop! A voice shouted from within. Naruto was fighting for control again. I don't know what you are, but you've gone way too far. Killing someone begging for mercy? Trying to kill Sakura? You're done! And in that moment, Chara felt themselves ripped back from the driver's seat as Naruto took over. It was then that Sakura, looking at Naruto with tears in her eyes, tried to understand what she had done wrong to receive such a reaction. Naruto, back to his senses, wiped the dark liquid from his face. What's wrong with you? Sakura demanded to know as she pulled free. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, Naruto said. They managed to take Team Dosu's scroll, and with it they passed the test. But to say that the team was falling apart was an understatement. Between Sasuke's curse mark and whatever was wrong with Naruto, Sakura had nobody to turn to but Kakashi. Meanwhile, Naruto confronted Chara again in their head. Hey, partner, Chara said as Naruto appeared. What was that in the forest? Naruto demanded. Oh, you know, when adrenaline gets high, sometimes you get carried away. You were going to kill Sakura and Sasuke. I might have been able to excuse your brutal execution of those sound ninja, but I can and will never excuse your threatening of Sasuke and Sakura. Sorry, man, it wasn't on purpose. It was totally on purpose. Naruto shook his head and pointed his finger into Chara's face. Listen, you're done. Until you can learn to control yourself, you're going in there with the Nine Tails. Suddenly the gate opened up and a chain gripped Chara, dragging them into the cage with the Nine Tails. As the cage closed, Naruto walked up to inspect it and saw Chara sitting in the darkness before the beast. You know, 9 is the best number in the world, because there's no number higher. Naruto scoffed. And what's that supposed to mean? Chara was silent, only their white teeth being visible in the darkness. You'll find out soon enough, partner. As Naruto left, Chara looked up at the Nine Tails. Without so much as a single word, the Nine Tails heeded Chara's command. Its hand upon the bars, it pushed forward, the cage slowly creaking open. Naruto would eventually meet up with Sakura, who was still noticeably pent up around him. About the forest. I'm sorry. Sometimes when I get scared, I try to act scary to overcome it. What was with your face? She asked. I've never seen a face like that before. I didn't even know it was possible. And that fluid. What was it? What happened to you? Naruto began to speak, but stopped. I know there's something you're not telling me, Naruto. What's going on? She asked. Naruto took a deep breath. You know how I've got the Nine Tails locked into me? Well, I had something else locked in too. A person. So I thought they were my friend, helping me when I needed it. But they seemed to be using me, so I put them back in the cage. They're not gonna come out again. Sakura was uneasy. She spoke. Just make sure that it doesn't happen again. From there, the Chunin exams continue on by themselves. Naruto is set to face off against Kiba and Akamaru, and upon defeating them, Naruto learns the Fang over Fang technique. But what was more interesting was his battle against Neji Hyuga. You see, Neji was a taijutsu specialist, and he possessed all of the secret techniques of the Hyuga. Despite Naruto currently not having access to the Nine Tails' power, it was a real question if he could win. However, Naruto possessed a lot more than he was given credit for. High chakra levels, usage of shadow clones, earth style, and even ice style. Naruto had an advantage. Utilizing the demonic mirroring ice crystals technique, he was able to probe for weaknesses. It was through this that he realized that there was a place at the nape of the neck where he could attack without being seen. Using Fang over Fang, he targeted this place. However, before he could strike, Neji, also aware of his weakness, would utilize palm rotation to knock Naruto away. Naruto tried to retreat back to the mirrors, but before he could, he was paralyzed by Neji. The match was declared, and Naruto had lost. However, Naruto wasn't disappointed, because he had the chance to do this himself. But the exams weren't over, and Sasuke still had his own battle to fight. And so, as his battle against Gaara began, Sasuke managed to get past Gaara's sand shield with his Chidori, and caused a deep wound. Gaara, bleeding for the first time, completely crashed out. With this, he fled the stadium, but at about that time, the stadium came under attack. Genjutsu was cast on the audience, and Naruto went under. But as he was asleep, his body began to move again. Chara spoke. "Sleep now, little ninja. It's time for me to get the things I've desired for far too long." As Sasuke faced Gaara, it became clear that he could not defeat him as he was now. Gaara possessed some strange demonic beast inside of him, not too dissimilar from Naruto. Using his curse mark, he managed to wound Gaara again, but with now at the mercy of Gaara, Sasuke laid there, awaiting his demise. But that ending would not come, not by Gaara's hand. Landing before him was Naruto. Sasuke looked over. "Naruto, you're no match for him. Go!" The face of Naruto, warped and twisted by Chara's presence, raised an unnatural smile towards Sasuke.
Who is this Naruto you speak of?
Sasuke's blood ran cold as he felt killing intent unlike any he'd ever felt before. Chara turned to face Gaara. "That's a cool demonic form you have there. I want it," they said. Gaara stood there, unable to understand what it was that he was looking at. He could sense an unfathomable darkness. Had this been Naruto? If so, it wasn't Naruto anymore. Gaara killed himself and remembered that he was the real demon here. He jumped from his tree branch at Naruto, only to feel a blade dragged across his chest that blood began to drip from the wound. Gaara cried out in anger, terror, and pain all at once. Chara slowly turned back to face. It's almost like you've never been hurt before. Chara began to draw closer. "You sound more like a spoiled little brat having a tantrum with a demon." Gaara attacked Chara again, attempting to slice at them, but Chara dodged one step under the swipe before turning around and decapitating Gaara completely.
Choose to follow your instincts. Every Mazda is designed to feel like it was made just for you.
I wake up.
As both Gaara and his tailed beast fell lifelessly before Chara, they felt the immense power of both Gaara and Shukaku enter them. Though Sasuke, Chara drew closer. He was unable to move. Chara raised their blade to stab him, but "I see you've woken up," Chara said. Within the mindscape, Naruto stood there before Chara. I won't let you do this," he said. Chara turned to face Naruto, their demonic smile remaining. "You never had a choice, friend. You thought that by putting me in a cage that would stop me? There's no cage strong enough to hold me, least of all in you." Naruto gulped. Chara continued. "You know, I gave you all to beat that person, and if he did, that ninjutsu was his to keep forever. But there were certain reasons why Naruto simply couldn't be loaded up with ninjutsu left and right. It had to be a real battle, with the intent to win. If Naruto held a faux battle with someone just to get their ninjutsu, it wouldn't work. It had to be a real battle with life or death consequences. What did it consider a win or loss? That too was a question. Why it worked this way and what inside of Naruto determined that criteria, they did not know. All they knew was that there was no jutsu he couldn't learn. The only prerequisite was that the battle he fought had to be legitimate. This gave Naruto a lot of potential. There were many jutsu out in the world, many powerful techniques that could make or break a shinobi, and Naruto had the capability to learn them all. He was a promising young man who was believed to possibly grow into the greatest greatest shinobi of all time if he didn't squander this ability, and so they put him in the academy. Despite his ability to copy any technique, they believed he would be the perfect student, but strangely, he had a very hard time keeping up in school. This Kekkei Genkai was a real mystery. Naruto would fail so many times, to the point that it looked like he might just give up. That's when he'd be approached and told about the Scroll of Seals by Mizuki. Mizuki was a secret traitor to the Leaf. He was opportunistic, cruel, and wasn't above using someone for his own gain. Today, he had chosen Naruto. Naruto was in a vulnerable spot from having failed to pass the test. Mizuki knew that he could get the scroll with Naruto's help by offering him the secrets inside. Everyone would think that Naruto was the traitor because that's what they wanted to believe. They disliked Naruto and wanted him gone, so if presented the choice to pick him as a traitor or Mizuki, they would always choose Naruto, and Mizuki could get away scot-free. Hey Naruto, I know you're upset about failing the test, but it's okay. You can always take it again. What's the point? I'll never win. I'll never pass because I don't know how to properly execute the technique they're asking me to do, Naruto said. Mizuki knew he had this in the bag. Naruto was already in his grasp. He was desperate, willing to try anything. This is when Mizuki would offer help, seemingly giving Naruto a way out. Naruto was young and didn't know any better. He knew stealing was wrong and that taking this was going to be wrong as well. But he didn't understand how dire the consequences were. He didn't understand what the scroll truly was or the danger it posed to the village. And so, going by night, Naruto snuck into the Hokage's mansion, entering the office through an open window. As he moved around quietly, he heard the sound of guards patrolling the area outside. Sticking to his tiptoes, he snuck in without so much as a peep. Only the ambient light of the village outside lit this dark room. There was a calmness, a peace to it. It was soothing. Naruto had always loved the nighttime, and this was among the reasons why. However, he didn't have time to be lulled into security by the moment. He had a mission to accomplish, and it was very important. As he walked past all the other treasures, he stopped by a big glass case that possessed a rather large scroll behind it. Reaching out, he lifted the glass container, which suddenly set off all the alarms. Naruto dropped the glass container, shattering it. Oops, there's no way they didn't hear that, Naruto said as he gathered up the scroll and made for the window. He escaped just in time, as the very moment he was gone, Shinobi entered the room to investigate. Naruto watched from afar. Well, I'll bring it back. I just need time with it, he said. Naruto escaped into the woods where he planned to study. As he looked at the tall and thick scroll, he was surprised to see how small the writing was on it. It was almost to the point of needing a magnifying glass just to read it. Naruto began to look through. By chance, he saw a jutsu called Multi-Shadow Clone Jutsu. Upon seeing it, he knew beyond a shadow of a doubt he needed to learn this clone technique. And so, as he read it, he proceeded to practice. But as you know, Hiruzen was not going to stand for this. That scroll was a truly priceless piece of history. It would also be dangerous if anyone got their hands on it, which made you wonder why he just left it out for even a curious child to grab. He would send out shinobi to find Naruto, among which was Iruka, the teacher that seemed to be one of the few who tried to pay attention to Naruto. With a heart of gold, Iruka was able to look past his own pain and into the hearts of those who suffered. This was an important lesson he would pass down to Naruto, but for now it was important that he find him. Iruka couldn't explain it, but he thought he knew of a place where he could go to look. Getting there, Iruka saw Naruto, and he was speaking with Mizuki. This was when everything became clear. You see, Mizuki's betrayal wasn't just out of the blue. Mizuki had, for quite some time, been accused and investigated for things, including, but not limited to, treason and murder. And as Iruka listened to their conversation now, he knew that those things must have been true, as he was the one who convinced Naruto to steal the scroll in the first place. That's when Iruka confronted Mizuki. Naruto, don't give him the scroll. Naruto was caught between two people he knew wanted to help him, but they were fighting, tugging him in different directions, and he didn't know who to side with. They both accused the other of wanting the scroll for nefarious reasons, so Naruto made the best play he could and rushed away with it. Mizuki and Iruka had a small fight that left Iruka wounded. However, he was far from out out of the game. As Mizuki raced after Naruto, he thought he caught up with him. He attempted to get Naruto to hand over the scroll, but to his surprise, Naruto attacked him. It was Irika in disguise. Naruto was nearby though. That much Mizuki understood. Tired from playing this game, Mizuki called out for Naruto and told him the truth about why everyone in the village hated him, and why even Irika did. However, Irika confirmed that Naruto was the Nine-Tails, and did kill his parents, but explained how none of that mattered now because Naruto was a promising shinobi and a kind soul deep down. These words moved Naruto to tears and informed him of who his true ally was. He confronted Mizuki, and though Mizuki was a Chunin with lots of experience, and Naruto was not even a Genin yet, Naruto used his newfound abilities to push Mizuki back. And through the use of his shadow clones, he defeated him. And as Mizuki lay there on the ground, bleeding and defeated, something unusual happened. Naruto felt a power rushing through him. There was a glow of light around him, and around Mizuki. A single drop of blood mixed with chakra shot from Mizuki to Naruto. And in that instant, Naruto's mind opened, and he witnessed in his head many jutsu he had never known how to do, yet now he did. It was an unusual feeling, like that of an epiphany. The moment your mind worked out a hard problem and discovered the secret to making it work. The same feeling you get when you have a word on the tip of your tongue but can't remember, and suddenly you do remember and say it. It almost felt like liberation, like freedom, as if this was always meant to be. As if these abilities were always Naruto's, and Mizuki was just holding on to them for him. It was a strange feeling. He had gained abilities not too dissimilar to this before, but this felt new. He felt stronger. He felt like if this were an RPG, he had just leveled up. The scroll would be returned to Hiruzen and Naruto would apologize. Everything would be forgiven and Irika would dictate that Naruto is now ready to be a Genin and pass him. Naruto was pleased and told he would soon meet his new team and that he should wait. That night, Naruto went home to rest. He wasn't sure if he could. With all the excitement, was he going to be able to calm down enough to fall asleep? Such questions needed not be asked of Naruto, as the moment he sat his head down on the pillow, he was gone. But alas, Naruto was not alone. From the corner, something loomed. Was it a spirit? A demon? What was it? It hovered just above the ground and appeared to be a semi-translucent child, no older than Naruto. The child drew closer to the bed of Naruto as he slept. Interesting, they said as they floated there, picking their nails with the tip of a spectral butcher knife in their hand. They were trying to understand what they were doing in this world. This was not the same village they had come from, and appeared to be a world far different from the one that they had originated. But for some reason, they felt a call, and because of that, they appeared. Standing before this boy, the spirit began to smile. There was something special in him. He had a special ability, and this was not too far removed from their own. As they stood there, they sensed the world around them. There was such high levels of violence all around them. Death was a natural part of life, and they had made it central to their way of being. It was ironic, death bringing life. For a moment, they questioned this, whether this was good or bad, but in the end, determined that it did not matter. Such concepts were lost on them as a being without a soul. As Naruto slept, the being drew closer. "I think we're going to make great partners," they said as they passed into Naruto. Wandering in the darkness of his soul, they stopped when they found something else entirely. "Oh, another demon," they questioned. Kurama opened his eyes, first with shock, before narrowing them once more. "Who are you?" Kurama asked. "Greetings. I'm Chara. Like unto yourself, one might consider me a demon. I didn't realize this house was already occupied," they said. Kurama looked down at Chara with disdain. "What are you doing here?" Kurama asked. "I was looking for a new partner. I thought I found one in this boy. He has a strong soul and is determined enough to do anything he sets his mind to learn anything he sets his mind to learn. His will is strong enough. If you want me so badly, why not let me out then? You can have it." Chara, taking on a more corporeal form in this plane between the real and imaginary, began to walk around. "Why are you in this cage?" they asked. Chara walked around the cage. As they did, they looked up at Kurama. "I perceive that you and the boy are connected on a deeper level." Kurama was silent. Chara continued. "Your life forces mix. If you leave his body, you'll take a part of him with you, and he'll die. I cannot have that," they said with a smile. "Still, your power is great, and it will be required for us down the line." "You plan to use me as well? You humans are all the same," Kurama said. For a moment, a vein appeared upon Chara's forehead. They calmed themselves. I may be human, but I am not humanity. But I can understand the confusion. From here on, you will serve me. I will be your new master. Kurama was stunned for a moment before breaking down into laughter. It wasn't just a small laugh, it was a real gutbuster. It had to be the most hilarious thing Kurama had ever heard. You, my master! He laughed a bit longer until eventually his laughing slowed. Suddenly, he exuded a dark aura. You're a fool. Get out of my presence, Kurama said. If I ever see you again, I will destroy you. Chara stood there silently, a half-cocked grin on their face. Kurama drew close to the gate. I will never, ever call a little whelp like you, master. Chara drew closer to the gate as well, pressing their hand against Kurama's nose. Suddenly, their eyes darkened like deep pits as what almost seemed like dark-colored blood began to run from them.
What makes you think you have a choice?
Kurama pulled back for a moment, startled. Slowly, he recovered. You think a scary face is gonna bend me to your will?
No, I don't think it will.
The demonic child said.
You're too strong for that. There's only one thing in this world worth respecting: power. And I will show you exactly that. I will show you what will happen if you step out of line.
Chara stepped back. With a single swipe of their dagger, the paper holding back the seal was sliced off. The very seal holding Kurama in. The spiral lock itself rent in two. The cage opened. Kurama, still in the shadows, spoke. You just sealed your fate.
I already met my fate long ago,
Chara said.
I do not fear death.
Good, because you're about to meet it again. Kurama stepped out of the darkness into the light and went to smash the child, only for the child to flip back. Floating beside them was an empty heart, a shape of a soul now devoid of all the compassion, kindness, and hope that once filled it, leaving only the framework of pure determination. Chara stood there, the blood dripping from their twisted face. Two demons stood, locked in epic combat over control of the one currently sleeping, unaware of their struggle. Kurama once more tried swiping his hand at them, but the child dodged with a nimbleness that mimicked that of shinobi who lived in this world. Kurama wasn't done yet. His tails whipped above his head before smashing the ground before him in an attempt to smash the child out of existence. However, the child stepped to the side and dodged each of them as if already knowing where each of these attacks was going to go. Suddenly, the child let out a swipe of their blade that connected with Kurama. Somehow, they had cut through time and space, extending the reach of their attack, which now left a bleeding mark on Kurama's cheek. The child raced forward and jumped onto one of the tails Kurama left on the ground, as he was stunned by the damage done. As Chara ran up the tail, Kurama flicked it into the air, causing Chara to fly up into the upper limits of the darkness that seemed to extend on forever. Chara began to descend as fast as possible, their blade ready to stab into Kurama's skull. Kurama saw them coming though and jumped up into the air and batted them to the ground. Chara hit the ground in water, skidding, leaving a smear of blood as the shoulder of their green and yellow striped sweater was torn. Flesh torn away, bone and sinew were all that could be seen of the wound. Chara looked down for a moment before looking up to Kurama again.
I've waited so long for someone as impressive as you.
They said. Taking their finger, they ran it over the wound, collecting their own blood before licking it off the finger. Chara rushed at Kurama again, and Kurama prepared for the next attack. Chara snapped their fingers, and in the air appeared crimson daggers that began to fly at Kurama at incredible speeds. Kurama used his tails and cracked them like whips at the daggers, shattering them each one by one in an effort to defend himself. Suddenly, a large knife, without warning, emerged from the ground below him, impaling Kurama through the torso and out the back. Kurama cried out as his body was lifted off the ground by the massive blade. Kurama had only ever faced one human with comparable strength, and he had spent years in his own mind replaying that over and over again. Never again would he lose to a human. Kurama, with all of his strength, snapped the blade holding him up. He rolled off the side and pulled it from his chest, using what remained as a shield against the other blades as his chakra worked overtime to close the wound. He needed to buy a little time. The child was walking closer to him, slowly. The child knew that it was in control of the battle at this moment. Kurama needed to retreat for a moment, but what could he do? Forming a tailed beast ball in his mouth, Kurama threw the blade at Chara, causing the child to jump back. While in the air, Kurama knew that they couldn't dodge. He released the tailed beast ball into the ground near them. The blast was impressive. Any normal human would have been incinerated by such an attack, but not Chara. Chara, blown back, was heavily burned. Their skin charred and ashen, they still stood. Kurama was unsettled by this. Don't you feel pain? He asked them. Chara spoke in a voice raspy and deep due to inhaling some of the flames.
I don't feel anything anymore.
Chara broke into a mad dash. As they did, their blade increased in size and length. Kurama was almost done healing. He took another step back. He wasn't sure what to do with this attack except catch it. As the blade came in to stab him, the physical strength of Kushina was not comparable to that of a tailed beast. Even Kushina and Minato together were only enough to hold back one finger. What did a child in a robot body have to accomplish? Kurama began to laugh, but to his surprise, Chara continued, pushing the blade closer. It was slipping through his hands. How was this possible? How could something so small be so strong? This was ridiculous. Chara smiled and spoke.
Die.
Suddenly, with intense physical pressure, the blade carved into Kurama's hands and pierced his chest. Kurama roared in pain, but his next move was not what anyone could expect. He gripped the blade tightly and tried his best to keep it wedged between his ribs. He needed Chara to stay right where they were. He'd been safe earlier, hoping that they might be killed by an AoE attack, but no. Now he was going to hit them with everything he had. Charging another tailed beast ball in his mouth, he ignited it and fired it as a beam.
Book and stuff. So, I want to say thank you for allowing me to explore what I want to do. Jet, I'm extremely thankful for what you guys are doing to help me get this far. Oh, and by the way, the background is so I can see what you guys are saying a lot easier. I noticed that when I have white words on like a black background, it pops a lot more. So don't mind the all black background. It's just there to keep everything there. Now, how the fucking stream works is that character there is what you guys are gonna help me turn into a character. Reduce bugs. best ideas, the best.
I do not. Pushing their dagger forward, there was suddenly an icy wind blowing in the direction of Orochimaru. Orochimaru cocked his head. You possess ice release. Or is it that you simply mix water and wind release to simulate? Chara smiled. Wouldn't you like to know? Tell me, sir, what are your powers? I wish to add them to my collection. Orochimaru sensed a similar spirit in Naruto as to what was in him. Maybe one day I'll show you, but for now, I seek the powers of your friend. Chara looked over at Sasuke. Oh, what powers do you speak of? I seek his Sharingan, the most exalted dojutsu under the Rinnegan itself. Chara's attention returned to Orochimaru. Interesting. However, that dojutsu is not yours, so I won't let you take it. Do you truly think you can stop me? Orochimaru asked. Chara smiled. Do you truly think I can't? Orochimaru's face began to grow more serious as he began sensing a killing intent that was as great, if not greater than his own. Sasuke looked at Naruto with confusion. He had changed so much in but a moment. Naruto was normally nothing like this. Naruto rushed into battle without a second thought. Chara swung their blade at Orochimaru. Orochimaru dodged gracefully, like a snake would. Chara then began to attempt to form hand signs based upon what they had learned after killing Haku, attempting to freeze the very air around Orochimaru and the very water within him. Chara began to realize how fitting ice powers were. Orochimaru attempted to counter the ice release with his own fire release before jumping to the side. Casting snakes at Chara, Chara jumped back on their toes as if this battle were an intricate waltz that had already been choreographed in their mind 1,000 times. Yeah, Chara said as they did a bit more stretching. This is what I've been missing. How long has it been since I took on a worthy foe? Orochimaru smiled and pulled their own kunai. To think a genin with your level of skill exists. A truly worthy opponent. From here, the two of them clash, their blades pressing up against each other. Orochimaru smiles until noticing slowly that Chara's blade is heating up and slowly cutting through his kunai. Jumping away from Naruto, he stops. It's then that Sasuke, having gathered his courage, rushes in to attack Orochimaru from a blind spot. However, Orochimaru catches him and brands him with the curse mark. Standing back up, Orochimaru wipes Sasuke's blood from his lips as the mark finishes forming on Sasuke's neck. Looking back at Chara, Orochimaru speaks. This has truly been a pleasure, but I need to be on my way. Good day to you. Orochimaru then disappears, his body sinking into the surface of a tree before fading entirely. Sasuke laid there, gripping at his neck. Slowly, Chara walks up to him and looks down. Gripping their knife all the tighter, suddenly Naruto takes control again. Kneeling down, he tries to help Sasuke up. Sasuke, can you hear me? Sasuke! From there, they decide to rest while Sasuke recovers. Naruto stands close by while Sakura guards Sasuke, attempting to cool the fever he has. However, outside of the little cave they were hiding in, Naruto spotted people lurking. Team Dosu, members of Otogakure. They were here with the intent to kill Sasuke due to their fanatical love of Orochimaru, and jealousy that Sasuke would be chosen by him over them. We got company, Naruto said. Nervous? Chara said over Naruto's shoulders. Those guys look rough. And there's 3 of them. Chara gently massaged Naruto's shoulders. Shh, 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 shh. Don't worry about it, champ. Just give me control. I need to learn how to do this stuff myself, Naruto said. And you will, but not now. Look at them. They're stone cold killers. They want to kill you and everyone else. Let me help. Watch. You experience everything I do, so just memorize how I move your body and you'll learn how to do it yourself. Help me help you get stronger. Let me take control. Naruto's shoulders loosen. All right, take control. Cool beans. Chara then, in that moment, took control of Naruto and stepped outside, butcher knife in hand. Interesting, Chara said to them. Am I to presume you 3 are lost? Or have you simply grown tired of living? The 3 smiled, though it could only be seen in Dosu's eyes. He spoke. We've come to kill you. Chara began to laugh. Sorry, for a moment I almost took you as a threat. Those words annoyed the 3 warriors. Chara began to focus on them once more, wiping a tear from their eye. So I guess it's death then. Cool. I've been itching to have an excuse to get a little EX. Flipping the knife in their hands, Chara drew closer, their mind afire with all the interesting ways they could carve them up. Dosu and his team began to encircle Chara, who smiled. Ladies first, they said, offering a bow toward Dosu. At that moment, all 3 came at Chara, only for Chara to avoid by jumping up into the air. Dosu would swing his gauntlet, attempting to smash Chara, but accidentally striking Zaku instead. Chara hit the ground and attempted to hit Dosu. However, Dosu caught the blade and trashed it with his gauntlet's grip. Chara felt their insides vibrating from the sonic weaponry in that thick glove. Jumping back, Chara formed a second blade. But before they could attack, they were beset by vertigo and the sudden violent shaking within their inner ear. It was like the forest was spinning, and in that instant, Chara knelt over and vomited. Ugh, the chocolate tastes better going in than it does coming out. Chara had forgotten the weaknesses of having a physical body, and now that they were inside of Naruto, they were subject to all the weaknesses of it. Sorry, fish cake. It's my fault. I won't make that mistake again, Chara said, patting Naruto's now aching tummy. Zaku was still on the ground, only just now starting to recover. Kin and Dosu were coming in again. Chara looked at them and took a deep breath. Did you sign that waiver? They asked Team Dosu. I wouldn't want to cause Konoha any trouble when I kill you. Kin threw Senbon towards Chara, not too unlike how Haku had. But these Senbon possessed bells attached to them, which had the ability to cast Genjutsu. As soon as Chara heard these bells, they felt the world melting away. What is this magic? They asked. Have you never heard of Genjutsu? Kin asked. And in that moment, Chara found themselves back in darkness within a monstrous creature. The plan had failed. He was weak. He got them both killed. And now the reason neither of them had a soul anymore was because he forgot the #1 rule in this world. Kill or be killed. Chara had tried so long to teach the little softy that, but he knew he never truly understood. And now it was too late, but that was okay. In this new world, it seemed that this lesson was well circulating. Thanks for foolishly informing me this was an illusion, Chara said as they raised a finger and released it. By that time, they were finally getting back to their 100%. Chara took a step forward and a second later body slammed Kin before turning to Zaku. Weaving hand signs, Chara cast an ice-style jutsu to freeze Zaku solid, and in that moment gained all of Zaku's knowledge and techniques. But frustration fell upon Chara when they realized that this information and techniques were useless to them, as they required body modifications to be used. Looking at Dosu, they lurched forward and dodged under a strike from that claw. In an instant, Chara dragged the blade upward, severing Dosu's arm at the elbow, causing the gauntlet to fall. As blood spurted from the wound, Dosu cried. Chara took their blade and sliced him as hard as possible, cutting him in twain. As he fell, he too gave no practical jutsu, but knowledge of sound instead. A bit more useful than Zaku, but not by much. Turning back to Kin, Chara knelt down. Let's hope you're more useful, Chara spoke. Kin was startled. Looking up at Naruto's face, they saw simply large, hollow voids where his eyes were, and black, blood-like liquid dripping down from those voids and from its inhuman grin. Chara took the tip of their blade and rested it on the center of Kin's throat. Please, don't, Kin begged in a voice filled with fear and terror. I live to hear those words. Kin began to let out a scream before it was muffled by the blade. In that moment, all of the knowledge that Kin had possessed about sound-based Genjutsu passed into Naruto's mind, and by extension, Chara's. Standing up, Chara licked the blood from their blade. Feel the love, they said. It was at about this time that Sasuke was waking up, his mind and body out of control, berserk with the curse mark. Chara's mind widened as they grew nearer.